Let's now invite Conservative strategist Laryssa Waler in the conversation. Laryssa, good morning and thanks for your time.
Good morning.
24 hours after that bombshell of a resignation, there are, of course, still some shockwaves around the country. Your thoughts on how is this day looking and the pressure that continues to mount on Justin Trudeau?
Well, I think the consensus, not only in the political chattering class, was that this was an extraordinary day and a unique day, but what made it even more unique was that it transcended sort of my immediate friend group, and I heard about it, at the hockey arena. Everybody asking, what does this actually mean? Are we going into an election? Is Justin Trudeau going to step down? What's going to happen next? And we sort of get into this procedural answer. Well, this could happen. He could stay on. Nothing could change. They can't force him out. He could resign. We go into a leadership race. What does that mean timing wise? He could go to the Governor General and call a general election. All these options are on the table, right? And then explaining to, I guess I'd call them regular Canadians, the timetable of when could there be a confidence vote, right? Why couldn't all the opposition parties just stand up in the House today and say we've lost confidence in the government? I think the Canadian parliamentary system can be complex, so some of these answers are a little nuanced. But the overarching theme that I've heard from my friends from all political stripes is that Justin Trudeau has to go, and it's his ego that's preventing that from happening.
But Laryssa, looking at the Prime Minister in the last 24 hours, we know that, of course, he had his cabinet colleagues meet. Then he was in a meeting with the caucus, where apparently he also met with Chrystia Freeland in the caucus meeting. Later in the evening, visuals we are showing to you, he was in Quebec and Gatineau for this dinner event. It seems like for the Prime Minister, he just wants to keep walking ahead, marching forward, trying to just, carry on.
Yeah, like nothing's wrong. When I saw that speech at that fundraiser last night, I couldn't believe both the content of the speech, how arrogant he sounded, but also that he elected not to speak to Canadians yesterday who are feeling very unsure about the leadership of our country, but instead elected to speak to a room full of Liberals who are going to clap for him and pay $1,700 a head to hear him speak. It really showed his priorities, and it showed that he doesn't care that people don't want him to be the Prime Minister anymore. He's going to go into the room that's going to clap for him.
But Laryssa, let me ask you, is the country really prepared for an election right now? We know that Pierre Poilievre has said it's time now for a carbon tax election. When you say Justin Trudeau needs to step aside, step down, is it about election or is it about new leadership in the Liberals at the moment?
So that's a really great question, because I think a lot of pundits and a lot of media commentators and even the general public put a lot of this squarely on Justin Trudeau. He didn't do any of this alone, right? He had a cabinet supporting him for the last 9 years. He had people saying yes, yes, yes to every idea he's had. And so while, we see the letter from Chrystia Freeland, and even I, who've never been a fan of Chrystia Freeland, I have an element of respect for the way that she called out Justin Trudeau on her way out the door. But she's culpable too, right? Steve Guilbeault, they're all part of the result. They're all part of why Canada is where it is. And so you can change the head of the Liberal Party, unless you change every single policy that they've put forward that's been detrimental to our country, nothing's going to get better. So, what's my perspective? My perspective is we go to an election, we get a new leadership, we get a new prime minister, we get a new government. If we go straight into a leadership, this is probably the more likely scenario. We get another figurehead who's going to implement the same plan that they all were part of for the last 9 years.
Laryssa Waler, Conservative strategist, appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thanks so much.